Copping drop toss, whole block is stunting. Low credit, don't sweat it, boy, we drop the funding. Stocking glocks while our pockets stock the hundreds. And we do all this in bondage. Ghost. Cold-hearted. Yeah, the cracker got a cap, but we gon' do the do. 100 band foreign call, we ain't rooted poo. Of y'all young, we keep a case, dog, Scooby-Doo.
Hey, brother, how you doing? You got a second to hear God's word? All right, that's what's up, man. So what's your name, brother? Keon, my name is Aaron, brother. Nice to meet you. All praises to the Most High. So you believe in the Bible? All praises. So would you consider yourself a Christian? Catholic. Okay. So what's your thoughts on obeying God's commandments? Like, what's your standpoint on that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. So like you grew up Catholic, or like do you practice
I grew
currently?
up Catholic.
Okay. That's what's up. So in regard to keeping God's commandments, and you said you believe in the Bible, so I just wanted to go to what the Bible speaks about it. We're gonna go through a few scriptures. I ain't gonna try to hold you for too long because I see you out and about. You can grab me the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. You could give me the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Right.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Let us hear the whole conclusion of the whole matter. Or let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
So real quick, when you hear the word conclusion, that makes you think of the summary, or what the point of the speech, or whatever the case is, right? So continue on.
Fear God and keep his commandments.
So it says, fear God and keep his commandments. That's the conclusion of the summary of everything that's being discussed within this book of Ecclesiastes. Because when you look at this, the writer, which we think is Solomon, he's discussing a bunch of things, from the youth, fearing God in your youth, where you go to when you die, all of those things. At the end of all of his wisdom that he's given, he's saying the conclusion of it, fear God and keep his commandments. Continue on.
For this is the whole duty of man.
So he says that's the whole duty of man, to fear God and keep his commandments. So we're placed on this earth as a people to obey God's commandments, do what he says. Now, do you know where you find God's commandments at? So you in the Bible, but specifically within the first 5 books of the Bible. So if you can't grab me the book of Leviticus, right? Grab me the book of Leviticus chapter 11. And just we're gonna go through a few, right? Because like as far as your diet is concerned, right? What type of food, like, do you eat like seafood and things like that? Not big on seafood. Well, that's good. So what about like pork and things like that? Do you eat pork?
Here and there, make it a consistent part of my diet.
Nice respect. So did you know that God, he actually addresses what he commands us to eat and what not to eat? Did you know that he addresses that? Cool. So we're going to go into it a little bit. This full chapter, I would definitely encourage you to read it, because it goes throughout the whole what you can eat, what you can't eat. So just want to jump into it real quick. Start at like verse 7.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, starting at verse 7.
Uh-huh.
In the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
You know what the swine is?
That's pork, right?
That's pork, absolutely. So pork is something that we're not supposed to consume. We're not supposed to eat pork because God said it was unclean. You say you're not really big on seafood, but just for the sake of it, I want to jump into it just a little bit. Jump down to the seafood point. I think that's verse 9.
This is the verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Uh-huh.
Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Right. So whatever has fins and scales that are within the waters, that's what you're allowed to eat. Like fish, like salmon, like rockfish, that's another one. Things of that sort, right? Now, it's gonna go on to tell you that you're not supposed to eat things that don't have fins and scales, right? Now that would include your lobster, crab, shrimp. Yeah, exactly. Catfish. But read the verse so we can say it verbatim. What?
Verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
Right. So, the creatures that are within the waters that don't have fins and scales, they're an abomination to us, meaning it's disgusting. Right. And we don't want to be disgusting, within ourselves and also in the sight of God. So if God told us not to eat those things, then we aren't to eat those things. Now, you said you grew up Catholic. What did you hear about the law, like when you were growing up as a Catholic? Like, what did they teach you? Yeah.
Honestly, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been like in church.
I respect.
I catch up here and there. My cousin goes to church, and he kind of speaks to me about stuff that's going on. But me personally, it's been a while since I've been like in second.
Now, I respect that. So, with that being said, because I know you said you believe in the Messiah, so I just want to read you some of what the Messiah said. Jump to the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 18.
Book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
So the Messiah, when he's speaking in Matthew chapter 5, he's speaking to a multitude of people, and he's telling them that he didn't come on the earth to do away with the law. And he's speaking to like the permanence or how permanent the law of God is. So even to this day, you and I, we're standing right here, the law still isn't done away with, right? So we're going to continue on, read verse 19.
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Right. So if you break God's commandments and you teach others to do the same, you're going to be called least in the kingdom. But if you do God's commandments and you teach others to do them, you're going to be called great. Read the last verse, verse 20.
Verse 20. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Right. And so the scribes and the Pharisees, they were teachers of the law, but Jesus, when he speaks about them, he says that they didn't actually do it themselves. So not only do we have to teach the law, but we actually have to do it ourselves. We can't be hypocrites. And that's an obvious, point, right? Right. So in order for us to get into the kingdom, we got to propagate the law. We got to tell people, raise our children in it. And we also got to do it ourselves. You understand? So in order for us to get to the kingdom, that's what we need to do, brother. We got to fly for you. I ain't going to hold you for too long. I appreciate you giving us the time.
Unless you have any questions.
Yeah, if you got any questions, definitely. All praises to the Most High. So definitely nice meeting you. Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
All praises.
Minions of the lost tribe. Step before dishonor, so I offer up my whole life. Got a strong wife, righteousness my only type. Isha on my side when I ride, I'm an Israelite. Resurrected out the valley, now I'm moving mountains. Ladder rain from the plains is a spirit fountain. I never feel the alcohol.